Hello, I'm Sheriff Kevin Rambosk, and I want to welcome you to On Scene. "16 drug dealers are off the streets of Collier County and South Florida. They are off the streets for trafficking in heroin, conspiracy to traffic heroin, and methamphetamine. And you know, throughout the nation, from Vermont to California to Florida, heroin is a growing trend. And unfortunately, because we've done so well, particularly in Florida, managing our pill problems of the last several years, the access and the low cost of heroin is making that, unfortunately, a drug of choice for the future. The Collier County Sheriff's Office Vice Intelligence and Narcotics Unit has always been very proactive in whatever the trend of drug type is. And they are that way in this case. While we don't have a significant amount of heroin yet throughout Collier County, our investigators identified the fact that it was increasing in amount as they were completing their investigations. And that's what really started to ramp up this nearly 1 year long investigation. Today, with the help of the State Attorney's Office, and we have Assistant State Attorney Collier here, Kate Rumley, along with the DEA in Miami, the Miami-Dade Violent Crimes Task Force, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, all working together, have put together arrests, seizures, and will outline for you what some of the impacts to our community are and will be, as well as follow-up. As part of that follow-up and an element that our Vice Intelligence Narcotics Unit put in place over the last year with regard to substance abuse and trying to get those who have become victim to it off of it. We are working together with the David Lawrence Center. We have Scott Burgess here with us today. We have currently seized cash, currency, vehicles, firearms, and narcotics. And you can see to my left, in addition to those 16 I mentioned that have been arrested thus far, and those who are yet to be arrested, you can see some of the seizures, and they include, now this is just today, we'll talk about the investigative information, 576 grams of heroin with a street value of $60,000, 513 grams of oxycodone with a street value of $85,000, 3 vehicles, 10 handguns, 1 rifle, $43,000 in cash, and over $7,000 in rounds of ammunition. That is becoming more critically important for law enforcement. As you can see, the picture of the handguns and rifles, in almost every contact we have, criminal contact in the public, whether it be drugs or not, we're finding firearms. Of the 16 involved in this case, most are major drug traffickers. And that is exactly where the Vice Intelligence Narcotics Unit wanted to go. To remove those individuals selling drugs to the residents of our community, our county, and all of South Florida because it's posing other related crime problems, as we all know, with drug and substance abuse. If we get into the specifics of the cases under investigation, 16 ounces of heroin were purchased for $60,000 during the investigation. There was a conspiracy to traffic 33 kilos during that investigation. If that were allowed to have continued, and these individuals not removed from our streets, that could result in more than 330,000 dosages of heroin out on the streets. And if they cut that, they could almost double that amount of dosages, and at a value of $2.6 million. So when we're talking about taking this many people off the street, we are talking about significantly impacting the flow of heroin and methamphetamine to the residents of Collier County in South Florida. That is a very, very significant impact. And I will tell you that from the time I've been here, and I was in Vice Intelligence Narcotics in the 1980s, this is absolutely the most significant heroin case that has been worked that I'm aware of. If we look at the individuals who have been arrested, there are two primary charges. Not each individual was charged with both charges, but they each have one of trafficking in heroin and/or conspiracy to traffic in heroin and/or cocaine. With the significance of the arrests, the bails that have been set thus far range as high as $2.5 million. And we'll be able to give you more information on that as we go. That just goes to show the significant element of crime activity, both as assessed by the state attorney's office and through the court system. We are partnering and have partnered already with the David Lawrence Center and Scott Burgess. He has had some of his staff along with our detectives. Once investigations and warrants have been served, scenes have been made safe, representatives from David Lawrence come in to assist us in referring people at those locations who were not arrested but had drug problems, a way to find a way out of those drug problems. Because the more of that we can do in this community, the less potential for increasing crime in the future.
The 16 people that were arrested today have already been charged by the state attorney's office with the crimes that the sheriff said, and the state attorney's office worked in conjunction with the County Sheriff's Office and the other agencies throughout this entire investigation.
I first of all just want to say thank you to Sheriff Rambosk and the Collier County Sheriff's Office. As Sheriff Rambosk was just alluding to, across the nation, we have struggled as a nation to have law enforcement and mental health and substance abuse providers working collaboratively together. And I have to commend Sheriff Rambosk for his leadership and the leadership here in Collier County relative to making those collaborations work. Since 2008, the Sheriff's Office and the Sheriff himself have supported crisis intervention training, which is where mental health and addictions-related symptoms are taught to law enforcement personnel, and we try to look at deflection and diversion opportunities, and that has made a huge difference in this county and really has led the nation as far as a model to follow. We commend the sheriff and the work that's being done here related to the heroin epidemic that's happening nationally in the country. Heroin is now the leading presenting drug for, or opiates, I'm sorry, are the leading presenting drug at David Lawrence Center in the detox program and substance treatment program. Just surpassed alcohol, and we are very concerned about this. Nationally, we know that overdoses, heroin overdoses are growing exponentially. So this is a very proactive measure in order to take the heroin off of the streets, as well as to navigate individuals into treatment as a preferred option. So we are so thankful, and we really appreciate everything that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also would like to thank the sheriff and all of his team members for the hard work and dedication to improve the life and safety parts of Collier County. This is a lot of hard work on his end and his staff, and we certainly appreciate that. How this affects emergency medical services is amazing, simply because the numbers show that we've had a 25% increase in the number of overdoses of drugs and alcohol, or a combination of both of those, from January 1st through August 31st for the same time period last year. And we've had nearly a 50% increase in the use of Narcan for the same time period. Narcan is the medication that we give to these opiate overdoses, and for EMS to increase that amount of usage by 50%, that truly shows that there is an issue with patients that use opiates, and us having to change that medication that's in their body and their system. So I commend him and his staff for his work, and Dave Lawrence, Senator, and the county attorney and state attorney for the work that they do. Thank you.
On these particular houses, a lot of times the narcotics are not used there. Sometimes they are, sometimes they are not. And what's really dangerous, to dovetail into the helping people here, is would you call police to that house if you were overdosing, or do you throw them in the car and take them somewhere else? And that's the problem we have. We want you to call EMS immediately if you're having a medical issue.
Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it, and we're going to go out and make contact with the community. Thank you very much. We hope you've enjoyed our program, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you for being our partner for a safe community.